All right, so I'm going to be bringing the first segment today, and I've hinted at it already, so Marco can go ahead and hide.
Hit him where it hurts.
We are going to go with a wrong. Ladies and gentlemen.
Wrong.
One more question from Ken Bone. Ken?
Wrong.
Some new soundbite intros for our segments. So,
wrong.
I will be bringing you a wrong today. This is where I find a bit of movie acceptance, whether it's this movie's great or this movie's not good, and I disagree with that. So I am going to say that the general notion that the Harry Potter movies are great is wrong. So I know that this is controversial territory.
Can I interject really quickly before you start? Just
fair.
very
That's
quick,
fair.
so that way I can shut my mouth. This entire segment is also wrong. Just let it be known. I disagree 1,000% with whatever you're about to say. You're wrong already before you start.
You beat me by a second.
No, that is objectively the truth. Harry Potter is a phenomenal series. Period. Point blank. I'm done talking. I'm going to mute myself so that you don't hear me groaning and moaning the entire time that you're talking right now. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So you might ask me why I think that
I do ask you. No,
Explain yourself.
So let me start here. It's definitely fun intellectual property. This is a world that is created, and you have to give her points in the sense that, like, Lord of the Rings is existing property, and you're adapting that's already been created by Tolkien into a movie. That's one thing, and then it's done incredibly. But for her, you have to give her the credit of saying, yeah, she created this content out of nowhere, and that stuff is fun, right? The first few movies are actually pretty good, but this is the problem, and it kind of develops. So overall, the movie, and we and Nathaniel have talked about this, it's not a very deep world that she's built. Like, it's very much like in your face. And to be honest, and this is, again, it's going to ruffle some feathers, I would put this kind of in the same category as, like, Twilight and Hunger Games not in like I would much rather watch these movies than those movies, but in the sense of, like, you've taken the concept of there are witchers and wizards and, like, hey, what if they were in a school together? Wouldn't that be fun? And you're going, well, of course. Yeah, I would love it. I've never seen anything like that. Let's see it. And they're kind of like, hey, what about werewolves and vampires? What if they were in school together? And that's kind of what we get with Twilight. And you get this really crappy, cringy love story. And I'm sorry, Harry Potter, there's a lot of really, and we'll get into that. So anyways, it's hard because the veil is really good at the beginning and it hides you from this really not very deep world. And you go, this is okay. I can handle this because we have John Williams creating music and we have some really funny, charming kid characters, right? This is a problem. So the third movie comes along, and that is the last one that John Williams scores. So he leaves, and honestly, just for reasons of being too busy, he was like, yeah, I'm doing a bunch of other movies. But I think that this was one of the biggest I think that they should have been like, all right, we will not make a movie unless we have you around doing the score. The score is not there for 4, 5, 6, 7, and the second part of 7. There is no dun 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 dun. And you hear that, you think Harry Potter. When I think Harry Potter, my mind goes to the first couple Harry Potters and hearing that music, like the real fast-pitched, whatever you want to call that, while a freaking owl flies down in the halls with all these. So all of that looks very cool. But it's kind of a cheap payoff when the world isn't deep. It's like you need a lot of that the whole time in such a shallow world, in my opinion. So how do these develop, right? So John Williams leaves. This is a tough one. We also get the guy that plays Dumbledore leaves after the second movie. Granted, he passes.
Come on! Give him He died! That's such bullshit! That is such a bullshit take because he fucking dies!
Okay.
Yeah, so the first actor for Dumbledore left the Earth, this mortal coil.
Shut up.
I cannot hold back when you shit on the previous Dumbledore because he fucking dies. He dies in real life, Greg.
You're a monster.
Anyways, this is not a segment saying that they should have done a better job in this circumstance. I'm just saying this adds to why the movies decline rapidly, all right? He was a big draw. He was one of the few characters that wasn't a kid. We get Severus Snape. a few characters that wasn't a kid that is actually like charming and bringing people back. He's a main character. You have some other ones. Hagrid's very charming. He's a good older character. Snape is a great character. Although if you actually look at the amount of screen time he's in, it's really hardly anything. Especially the first 4.5 movies, he's barely in it, and then he starts to kind of come alive at the end of the 5th, and then the 6th is effectively about him, although you don't know it's about him. But even in those that he's about, he's a very minor character. So Dumbledore, who's a big character, and he's one of the few characters that's not a kid, who's actually played by a great actor, he passes away. It's unfortunate, but 2 movies and he passes away. And this is where I really think that the movies took a bad turn. They decided, and again, I'm not saying the books are bad, and Nathaniel will probably speak more to this. He's read the books. I think that the movies decided to focus on the love aspect and say, hey, things like Twilight, they're all doing well. We need to be like that. We need to be a teen drama. And the problem is, none of that hits. And I think that it's really hard for even the people that like Harry Potter to say that hit. Like, even the people that like Harry Potter, are you sitting there like, oh my gosh, the romance between Harry and Ginny is just... Dude, she's a mailbox in that movie. Like, she is. No, like, you see her and she's like,
okay, I will give you.
We're not going to open this up yet, okay? I'm going to finish my thought, all right?
The chemistry of a log floating in a pond.
Because that's not the only one, right? Because you also get Hermione and Ron, which is supposed to be the big one, and Dog. Like, I watch... Dude, you're laughing because you know this is the problem. Even the people that love Harry Potter, they're like, but the rope. And I was on that ship, and believe me, this is the two phases. I watched 1, 2, and 3, which I think are solid movies. And the last show we had, I was like, dude, they're great movies. And even then, though, I was like, the world is thin. The world is like paper thin, but there's enough. There's the music happening. There are the characters growing. They're still kids and they're charming, and it's not a whole lot about the relationships. It's just kind of like about the world building. And even though that's not great, you just get to see a lot of fun things. The problem is that 4, 5, 6, 7, and the second part of 7 just dig super deep into the cringy love dramas between teenagers that aren't all that charming, and then you get no John Williams music. And the world that's paper thin, as the story gets more intense, you have to focus more on that. You're like, and this is a big deal because now we have Voldemort might take over, and what does he really want to do? Does he want to kill all the Muggles? He hasn't done anything to the Muggles. He's killing like half of the people that aren't pure bloods. But again, maybe there's more explained in the books. But in the movies, it's really weird. Like, Hogwarts is still going. There is still a school playing soccer matches against each other. While they're like, some of the students are like, I might kill you later because I don't like your parents. And they're like, Matt, why don't you go over there into the Slytherin house where we keep all the evil people? What? Why do you have a house full of evil people? Like, well, they're the evil. You know, if they want to kill people and if they murder other students, we put them in Slytherin house. It's like, what? And so again, if this was movies 1 and 2 and 3, we'll put 3 in there. If those are the only ones you'd say there is enough fun enjoyment here. This is charming enough. I love the characters. I don't necessarily have to dig super deep into this world. I can enjoy these, and I can understand why people enjoy them. But man, they fall off a freaking cliff, and I didn't want to have to say it, but I'm telling you, after just watching them, the movies do all they can to focus on this really crappy drama between each other with the occasional, hey, there's magic, and isn't this amazing looking? And that part's kind of fun, but we're going to go to the Quidditch World Cup. It looks great. Quidditch World Cup's over. You're like, okay, all right, I guess we're not going to see that. They're like, now we get really cringy Ron and Harry and Hermione talking about skin. And you're like, great. Here's a love potion between a bunch of teenagers. All right, okay. Here's Ginny Weasley, and here's Cho, the last girl that he liked, and we have no reason why he just stopped liking her, but now he's into Ginny. We're just going to pretend that that's been happening for ages. Dude, it is, I'm sorry, they get cringy, and the second to last one, that movie is unwatchable. I'm sorry. I finished the Deathly Hallows Part 1, and I was like, I will never watch this movie again. Boy, do they camp. A whole lot of camping. And then Ron, no more camping for Sorry. So I'm going to go out there and just say, I actually don't think the Harry Potter series as total is that great. I think the first 2, and you can include the 3rd in there, is a good trifecta. Those are and when I say really good, you take it with a grain of salt because the world that's been created isn't that deep. It's kind of just like there hasn't really been anything else that's tried to do witches and wizards in a school setting. So let's just do that. And you're like, oh, I've never seen anything like this. No, you can't pull at the thread too hard. There's nothing really deep there, but I can be enamored by this. Should it go on for 8 movies? Clearly not. That's my consensus. That's my evidence for why I don't think that they're actually that great a movie.
Do you want me to go before you do, Marco? Because
because all I'm going to do is just sit here and yell at him. And I can't defend half the shit because all the shit that he talked about was far too in-depth. When it's a surface-level movie, that's what it is. It is a surface-level movie.
No, but I explained.
No. You had your time. My turn.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Greg.
It is a surface-level movie. You do not have to think that hard into it. It is a basic, magical movie, period. And it is good. Period. End of story. You're wrong. And the fact that you denigrated fucking really Dumbledore, who died halfway through, pisses me off. Bullshit, and you know it.
Have you read the books, Marco?
I have read the first one and the second one. I'm not a reader, though. I'm definitely not a reader. I cannot stand reading. It's work for me.
Oh, my God.
It is.
Surrounded by
It's a lot of effort for me. I'm not a good reader. It's just a thing. I'm not a very good reader, so it puts a lot of effort on me.
I would encourage both of you. Apparently, they did like acted audiobooks for all the books.
I'm excited to read those. I have not started them. My wife is doing them. The first one now. When she's done with it, I'm gonna then take that same one and do it. So
I would recommend, and I think a lot of the love for the Harry Potter movies stems from the book fans.
That's fair.
And this is one of the problems. I think the reason you see a drop off in quality as you get past, especially past the third movie, is because the books are getting longer and longer and longer, like significantly. If you go from the third to the fourth book is almost twice as long as the third book. The fourth movie is like the same length as the third movie. So they're trying to squeeze more and more in to these smaller and smaller spaces. And one of the problems is they have to pick what to focus on.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with the books, with what's actually going on, and I think that's why a lot of it is forgivable if you've read the books, because you already know the background that they're cutting out.
Yeah.
So they're not explaining stuff, but you're like, oh, well, I know why this works. So I think if you come to the movies from the books, you're going to have a better time, because all that missing information that makes the world seem paper thin, and I'm not saying the world's like super duper deep. Again, I talked about that last time. But it is definitely like she did put thought into the world. You get a lot more about how the Wizarding world works, how the Muggle world works, the interactions between those two. You don't see almost any of that in the movie. Almost any of that. To the point where there are a couple things, and this was something I pointed out in the 7th and 8th books, right? Okay, so there's this whole thing.
Only 7 books, but 7th and 8th movies.
7th and 8th movies. So there's this whole thing where everyone calls Voldemort he who must not be named, or the Dark Lord, right? Or you know who. Because they're scared to say Voldemort. And then, like in the first book, Dumbledore teaches Harry, like, no, you should call him Voldemort, because calling him you know who, calling him he who must not be named, just increases his power that he has over you, of fear, right? By naming him Voldemort, you know, like, I know who he is, right? So there's this whole thing. So throughout the whole series, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and the people close to them are calling Voldemort the whole time.
Yeah, and everybody else doesn't.
It gets to the 7th book, and they're like on the run. They're in the diner. It does have the diner scene where they're talking, and then suddenly like 2 wizards appear and try to get them. And then they go somewhere else, and they're talking, and then they keep getting caught, and they're like, how are they tracking us? And they figure out that they've cast a spell so that whenever someone says the word Voldemort.
Okay.
Because they're the only ones who would do that.
Yeah.
They're the only ones who are brave enough to actually say Voldemort. So like, it's actually really clever. Like, oh, who are the only people who would say Voldemort's name? The people who we want to catch. So if we just know where people are saying it, we know where to catch them. And they figure that out. And so they start saying, you know who, and he who must not be named. Right. They do that in the 7th and 8th movies without telling you that happens. There's a whole point in like the 8th movie, they just start saying, you know who, and he who will not, they just call him,
this
you know who.
Reinforcing my point, by the way.
And they leave out the point of like, why are they suddenly saying, you know who? They don't tell you that at all. It's completely absent. Yeah. So there's just a lot of stuff that's missing. All the world building that she did do is completely absent. Again, it's not like the deepest world.
Yeah.
But she did do a decent chunk of world building.
And I'll concede that.
And it's completely missing from especially the later movies.
Yeah. My only point being, from a movie standpoint specifically, that's my stance.
Well, you're wrong. So,
sorry, we're going over.
We are going over. One of the 2-second thing. I am such a big fan of Harry Potter, and my wife and I are such big fans of Harry Potter that we have named all of our like devices in the house Voldemort. So when you say like Alexa or something like that, it doesn't like, you know,
you have to say Voldemort, Avada Kedavra.
No, it's like I want to tell the Voldemort something or whatever, so that it doesn't activate. It's like he who shall not be named.
Oh, I see. I got it.
I actually like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. You use it.
Yeah.
Because it's a great fucking thing.
I always just call it Voldemort. I'm like, well, Voldemort over there.
It's so good.
You save. You're just like, oh, well, Alexa.
And then it'll
like,
pop up. Yeah.
And I'm like, so anyway, say he who not be named. Yeah.